Well, hello friend, welcome back to my kitchen. It has been about 5 days since we started this project. Head colds came down upon my house and there was no cooking or food preservation to be done for the last quite some time. So today we need to tackle this pumpkin. We're gonna actually do some cooking. We're gonna make some dinner. Oh, let me grab one more thing. I've got one more project I want to get to because I'm heading to my parents' house next week. I bought these marionberries for my mom as a gift, and I want to go ahead and process them the way she likes them. So we're going to be doing food preservation projects, cooking dinner using this, so we're going to use it in a savory manner. And I think I want to experiment making salad rolls for dinner because we're going to make pumpkin curry for dinner tonight. I was thinking that curry sounded good for dinner tonight because it would be kind of warm and we can put some bone broth in it and we can use some potatoes and carrots from the garden. And so I was thinking it'd be kind of fun to make salad rolls because I have the papers and I haven't made salad rolls in years. So here I've got marionberries. This is my mom's all-time favorite fruit and she loves marionberries cooked down. Let's see if I can find... Sometimes I'm never sure where I put stuff. She likes marionberries in her yogurt. And the marionberries at the farmer's market were quite spendy this year. And so the marionberries at Azure were on sale. So when I saw that they were on sale, I went ahead and bought a box for her. And I thought this would be kind of a fun surprise for her. So we've got one project started. This is gonna be really easy. She likes to put marionberries that are slightly sweetened on her oatmeal, on her yogurt. And so that is what I'm gonna do for her here. Now, I wanna show you something that came in the mail. I just got my lye for making soap. My goal was to make soap for Christmas gifts. Well, that did not come and happen in time because I needed to render the lard, which we got that project done. And I'm really excited about that. But even though I got all the things I need for soap making, I feel like today would not be the good day to tackle something that's really going to need mental brain power. So we're gonna do just fun and easy things that we can check off the list and feel good about. And then when I have a little bit more brain capacity, we can tackle the soap. And we'll do that together. So here I've got my 2 bowls of pumpkin puree that we made. I need to blend them up. And I figured since we've got so much in a big bowl, a hand blender is gonna be the way to do it. What I have here, I could strain off this little bit of liquid, but I think I want that in here. I do have this pumpkin that's been straining, and I want to save that liquid because once I puree all of this together, I might add a little bit because I want the consistency of store-bought pumpkin. Oh, it's splashing. Some of the pumpkin varieties weren't stringy at all, and some were stringy. And so I'm just gonna blend them all together. So between blending, I'm gonna come and stir these marionberries. I think I'm pretty happy with this consistency and I don't think I want it any runnier, so I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this. I think, well, maybe I should put that into this bowl, huh? Let's see. I did get out a couple pieces of peel that I had missed when I was de-skinning them, so you can see there's different colors. Those are just different varieties of pumpkin. So here is 2024's pumpkin puree. So now we get to package this up for preservation. I threw my freezer containers that I'm gonna use for the Marionberries in the dishwasher, and those have just a few minutes, well, they have 35 minutes left. I put it on just the 1 hour cycle. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste this because we can't quite dish it up yet. Okay, I'm trying to gauge how much sweetness to add. I've never seen my mom make this for herself. She just talks about it. And she definitely doesn't want it as sweet as, say, a jam. So I'm gonna start with a 1/2 cup of sugar. Mix that in. And I do wanna keep some of the berries whole. I don't want them to be completely cooked down. I don't want it to have a cooked flavor either. Just grabbed a new spoon. Make sure that sugar dissolves all the way. You know what? That was 5 pounds of fruit. I think it was a 5-pound bag. I think I'm gonna add 3/4 of a cup of sugar and then give it a taste test. And you know what I think I'm gonna add too? Salt. Don't tell my mom. Just 2 pinches of salt, because that's gonna help bring out the flavor of the berries for sure. Okay. Just wanna make sure that sugar's dissolved before I go in with my spoon and give it a taste test. It smells incredible in here. Oh, wow. Okay, that was it. I don't need to add any more sugar. Knowing my mom, I think that is the level of sweetness she's gonna want. Let me taste that one more time. Oh yeah. That is incredible. It is amazing how just that sugar with that little bit of salt, divine. I want to thank Nano Knives for sponsoring today's video. Nano is a Japanese knife brand that has been making knives in Seiki, Japan since 1918. They have the Classic series, the Mito series, and the 19C27 series. In today's video, when we do our food prep for the pumpkin curry we're going to have for tonight's dinner, I am going to use the Mito series, and I've been using these knives for the past 6 months, and I have been really enjoying them. Chopping and slicing with a sharp knife makes all the difference. They will be linked in the description below. I wish I had quart size freezer bags. I don't, so we're just going to go with gallons because that's what I have. It's not worth me taking a trip into town for. So while we're waiting for the dishwasher to finish up, I have got Ziploc bags here and we can get this pumpkin put away for the rest of the year. Now, I was thinking of freeze drying it. If I freeze dry it, will I use it? I'm really trying to be big on 2 cups. I know I'm gonna freeze a bunch of it, so I'm just gonna start freezing a bunch of it. I know that I'll use frozen. And so I probably, you know what, I need to freeze dry some because how am I supposed to know if I like it freeze dried or don't if I don't give it a try? I think it would be actually kind of silly if I don't. So let me grab some freeze dryer trays. Friend, thank you for talking me into freeze drying some pumpkin puree. I can just hear you telling me, freeze dry the pumpkin puree. So while we're dealing with freeze dryer things, I went ahead and grabbed a 5-pound box of frozen strawberries and a 5-pound box of frozen diced mangoes. And I'm gonna get those on my freeze dryer trays so that when my freeze dryer is available, we can go ahead and get this fruit directly into the freeze dryer. When I did the pantry tour, you didn't see any freeze dried fruit in my house because it goes so incredibly quickly. And so I'm really excited about the idea of buying pre-frozen, pre-diced fruit that I can just throw on my freeze dryer trays and I don't have to do any prep. I freeze dried a ton of apples from the orchard, and of course I had to do all the prep for that, but that was because those were, you know, homegrown apples. But if it's fruit that I'm not growing on the homestead, I love the idea of taking a convenient step out of the process and buying pre-frozen, pre-washed, stems taken off, pre-diced fruit. Okay. So some of my trays I only have 2 silicone mats. Right now, my other trays have the silicone mats in the freeze dryer. I think for the pumpkin puree, I want the silicone mats. So we'll freeze dry. I have to decide if I'm going to freeze dry 1 or 2 trays of pumpkin. And I'm actually going to measure out how much pumpkin is on each tray so that when I go to rehydrate it, I have an idea of how much pumpkin I had on each tray, if that makes sense. So I have 4 cups of pumpkin puree on this one tray. You know what, I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do 8 cups of pumpkin puree freeze-dried total. I have to say, one of my favorite things that I freeze-dried is the tomato skins, and I would not have done that if it wasn't for your guys' encouragement. I've been using that. I'm actually savoring it because it's so delicious. As when I make a white sauce, I put a couple tablespoons of that tomato powder in the red sauce, and it is incredible. Or in a soup or something, if you just want a good tomato flavor, but you don't want the liquid that comes with like a can of crushed tomatoes, or you don't want that really rich flavor that comes with tomato paste. The tomato powder is incredible. So here I have a total of 8 cups of pumpkin puree. So I'm just gonna pop this in the freezer, and then once these are frozen and I've got these ready and my freeze dryer is available, we can freeze dry all this. And of course, I will let you know what I think of this project. Oh, I do have one more silicone mat there. You know what, I think I can buy through Azure, I think I can buy sliced strawberries too. I might do that next time instead of these whole ones, because these whole ones are kind of big. I only have 5 of these covers and I have more trays, but that's okay. I'm gonna get these in the freezer. And once everything's frozen, we can get these freeze drying. Feels good to get this project done and moved on to the next step for it. I can't quite put them into the freeze dryer yet because I've got some banana chips in the freeze dryer currently. And so I can't put them in there now, but I will soon. So I've got my 2 cup measure here. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna open all these bags, invert them, and we're gonna use this for dinner tonight, so I'm not going to freeze what we're gonna use for dinner tonight, just so that I don't get the sides of the bag dirty. Oh yeah, we're gonna need more bags than this, that's for sure. I wonder if I should do some 4 cup ones. Would that be too much? I don't know. 2 cups is about 1 15-ounce can. I think a 15-ounce can is like 1.9 something cups. Now don't quote me on that. Or it's just a little over 2 cups. I think it's just under 2 cups though. I remember I Googled it not that long ago. Okay, that was about half of this bowl. a cookie sheet, because this will make it easier to carry it out there. So if you guys have any recommendations for savory applications of pumpkin, I am all ears, because I like making pumpkin pasta. I like making pumpkin curry. I have never made a pumpkin soup before. I don't think Josh would like a pumpkin soup. 2 cups. Obviously, I've made pumpkin bread and pumpkin muffins. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do today too. I was thinking about maybe making some pumpkin muffins. After we did all those pumpkin spice recipes, I think we made 6 or something pumpkin spice recipes, I got a little pumpkin spiced out. And so I'm really looking for savory applications of pumpkin. I just had a thought. I wonder if there would be a good kind of like pumpkin lasagna to make a pumpkin sauce and Italian sausage and maybe some kale, or a pumpkin manicotti might be really good too. Now my wheels are turning. This might be perfect the amount of bags I got out. I have this much pumpkin left. I think I'm gonna make some pumpkin baked oatmeal. I think that would be really good for some breakfast prep. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And then we'll use the rest of it to make our pumpkin curry. I'm not using my vacuum sealer for this because I think the vacuum sealer would seal up a lot of the pumpkin. It would have a hard time sealing with this kind of consistency. I might be wrong, I don't know. I've never tried it. A Ziploc bag works really well, and I've never had an issue with freezer burn or anything like that with pumpkin puree in a freezer bag. Now this is definitely the most pumpkin I have ever grown. This is plenty for Josh and I for a year, for sure. I'm gonna have to get creative when it comes to using this pumpkin. And then I still have about 6 pumpkins for the chickens that I'm gonna give them throughout this winter. They're not as big, well, that's not true. 2 of them are 50-something pounds. I was gonna say they're not as big as the ones I roasted, but that's not entirely true. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, plus the 8 cups that are going into the freeze dryer, plus probably another 4 cups here of pumpkin. Plus what we've already made. We already made pumpkin pies for 2 family gatherings, and we've made pumpkin pasta this year. Pretty impressive. I feel like we've hardly been in the kitchen for no time at all, and we've already tackled some big projects. My dishwasher is done, and it is torrential downpour. So this is perfect for curry tonight. It just sounds warm and cozy. So let's get the Marion berries taken care of. And they've cooled down a little bit, which is perfect so that they're not hot going into our little freezer containers. I love these freezer containers. I do wish I had the smaller ones. These I just got off Amazon. Oh no, okay. They got turned upside down in the washing process. They are dishwasher safe, so you can reuse these over and over. These are the containers I used for the pizza sauce and salsa that I froze. I only washed these and like 2 other things in the dishwasher, but I'm just gonna give them a little rinse here. These are pints. You can get 8-ounce ones. I wish I had those for my mom, but these are what I have, so these are what I'm gonna use. Probably only need a couple of these. I washed a bunch of them because I was thinking maybe I would do some pumpkin puree in these, but then I had the thought the Ziploc bags are gonna take up a whole lot less freezer space, so that's why I did that. 5 of these is probably enough. Well, maybe not. Yeah, it's probably enough. Maybe 6. Maybe let me get 1 more rinsed out. I just had the thought, if I do that was 5 pounds of berries. So that would be 1 pound of berry per container. This is a really good idea my mom has. I usually just use jam to sweeten my yogurt, but I really like this idea because it has a whole lot less sugar in it, obviously. It smells so good. Mom, if you're watching this, I may have kept one of these containers for myself because I do have some yogurt. I think I'm going to. I do have some yogurt in the refrigerator. I think I'm gonna have to keep one of these for myself. Okay, I don't wanna fill them completely full because they're gonna freeze and they're gonna expand. All right, if you're doing this at home, 1 5-pound box of berries, which I could link those berries actually for you because I bought them online. 1 box of those berries does 6 of these containers perfectly. And I may have just dyed my wooden spatula or my wooden stirring spoon, and there may be no coming back from this, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna rinse my Dutch oven out and we can get going on tonight's dinner. After I get all this goodness in these containers. I'm just gonna let this cool for a few minutes on the counter too, before I put the lid on and before I stick them in the freezer. Mine, I'm just gonna put in the fridge. I'm gonna go ahead and make Josh's baked oatmeal for the week because that way I can just have this done and then we can get going on dinner. Because this is gonna take, it usually takes, you know, I don't even follow a recipe anymore, but I can tell you what I'm gonna put in here. It's really just depends on what fruits that I have that I wanna use up. So in here I have about 4 tablespoons of butter. Now I'm gonna add 3 cups of oats, and I try to make it pretty protein heavy, so I usually put anywhere from 5 to 6 eggs in it. And Josh can't tell a difference if there's 1 egg versus 5 eggs, so I try to put more eggs in it. Now my girls have stopped laying for the winter. They are getting up there in age, and so this coming spring, if we have a new chicken coop set up, we will be getting some new chickens. But for now, my girls basically are just gonna be living out their retirement here on the homestead. And they probably will start laying eggs again in the spring, but they probably won't lay any eggs. They molted throughout the fall, so they got new feathers, which will stop chickens from laying. Plus they're older and it's colder here than it is at our last homestead. The days are short, so they're not really laying. So I just put in probably, I don't know. So these are eggs from the store, all that to say. Probably about 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. I do have a written recipe on the website for this, but it really just depends. Throughout the summer, I made this with zucchini, so much zucchini. Almost every single baked oatmeal Josh had throughout the summer was zucchini because that's what I had abundance of. And it's just like zucchini bread. I seasoned it just like you would zucchini bread. I think 2, 4, 5. I'm gonna put 5 eggs in it today because these are pretty good size eggs. And then I usually put, I'll measure it out for you. I usually just put the milk until it looks like it's the correct moisture level. So this is 1.5 cups of milk. And usually I use applesauce, but since I have pumpkin, I've got about 1.5 cups of pumpkin we're gonna put in there. And maybe a little bit more. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I make this all the time. Got a baking dish here. Mix this together. Got the butter. I think I have everything in here. I don't put baking powder or baking soda or anything like that. Oh, sugar. I do put sugar in it. And I think I'm gonna put brown sugar. Sometimes I put white sugar, sometimes I put white sugar. It just depends on what I have. I think this would be delicious with that Marionberry sauce, but I kind of want to use up the pumpkin. So I just put 1/4 cup of brown sugar in there. And usually I only put between 2 tablespoons and 1/4 cup of sugar because I normally put applesauce in it, which the apples have quite a bit of sweetness. And that's it right there. Oh, vanilla. Put vanilla in it too. And usually I mix it directly in the baking dish, but today I thought I would mix it in the bowl. And sometimes what I like to do is just take a tiny bit of sugar, and maybe that was a tablespoon, and sprinkle it on the top. I did not have the oven preheated, not worried about it. We're gonna get that in the oven, and now we're gonna get dinner going. The first thing I'm gonna do is slice up some onions for our curry. Now, I could use my frozen pre-sliced onions, but I have a couple minutes today, so I'm gonna go ahead and use these. I'm trying to use my fresh onions first from the garden. See, before I use my frozen ones, because these ones have the potential to go bad, and that one does have a little bit of a spot. I'm just gonna take off there. These are kind of small, so I grabbed 3, and I thought that one might be turning, so this one looks perfect though. We'll get these sliced up and we'll use these first. I think I'm gonna puree this curry, so I'm not worried about slicing these onions too incredibly small. I have my Dutch oven here that I rinsed out, that we just cooked the berries in. Might as well use that again. I've got garlic infused oil in there, and now I'm gonna get my onions I just sliced, get these in here. Now, when I looked up a recipe for this, I found this really amazing, I think pretty authentic recipe, but I don't have like half the ingredients. So I'm gonna link that recipe for you. Because if you could find all of those really cool curry spices, I think it would be really absolutely phenomenal. But I don't have that, so I'm gonna use it as an inspiration, and I'm gonna use the spices that I do have. And I still think we're gonna be able to make this taste really, really good. So now that I've got my onions cooking, I have some garlic here. I'm gonna go ahead and get probably about, I don't know, 10 cloves. Should I do this whole head? I don't know. I'm the type of person that if a recipe says use 5 cloves of garlic, then I'm probably gonna double it. I'm out of my garlic pucks, if you can believe it. That's how much I love garlic. I've used them all. This is some garlic I purchased from a local farmer. The farmer I bought my onions from. This is probably more garlic than I need for today's recipe, so I'll just go ahead and, since I'm chopping garlic, I'm gonna go ahead and chop the whole head, and I'll put half of it in the fridge, and next time I cook, in the next few days, I won't have to chop garlic, because honestly, it's not my favorite kitchen chore to do. That's why I like to have a whole bunch of it done in the freezer ready for easy prep. The curry recipe that I found that I'm gonna link for you, it has things like lime leaves and curry leaves and star anise, lemongrass. I'm gonna try to grow lemongrass this next year. I've never grown that. I've never cooked it before. I have some relatives that just traveled to Thailand, and they took a curry making class, and they made green curry, red curry, masumam curry, and a yellow curry. And they made it with a mortar and pestle, and those type of trips to me are like my dream vacations, is traveling the world and taking cooking classes around the world. That just sounds like a dream to me. They were showing me all these beautiful pictures of all this incredible cuisine they were eating, and it looked pretty incredible. Josh and I have taken cooking classes together, and some of our most fun dates we've ever been on together are taking cooking classes. I think. I don't know if he thinks they're the most fun, but I had the most fun. I'm gonna rinse my knife off. I'm just gonna stir these onions. All right, that does look like a little bit more garlic than we need for today. So I'm gonna use one of these containers and get some of this garlic in there. And now next time I need garlic, I have it ready to go. Let's get this into with our onions. The makings of, oh my goodness, the house smells incredible, is really garlic and onion sauteing on the stove. Is there anything better than that? I don't know. Probably the silliest way to transfer garlic into a pot. We also need to saute the spices. A lot of spices are fat soluble, and so the best way to really maximize their flavor when it comes to building some sort of sauce like this is to actually toast them. And so I've got my curry paste here. I'm trying to think if I actually want to serve this over rice. I just went ahead and filled up my rice container, or if I want to make this more like a soup and serve it with noodles, because I do have some noodles that I could serve it with. I'm gonna have to think about that. We don't have to make a decision quite yet. I'm gonna get this whole jar. This is a 4-ounce jar. I'm getting all this curry paste into my pot. Now I'm gonna add coriander, cumin, Korean red pepper flake, 2 things of frozen ginger pucks. That's fresh ginger I froze. Some curry powder, mostly for the turmeric in that because I can't find my turmeric. We're gonna saute this until those spices have deepened in color. I'm gonna add a cinnamon stick too. This is Ceylon cinnamon, which has the, anti-inflammatory properties, which is what my family could use right now. I'm gonna add a few more ingredients, and I think I'm gonna turn this into a soup. I feel like that is probably gonna be a little bit more nourishing for us today. Garlic chili paste, that in there. I don't wanna make this too spicy, but the warmth can kind of help with a head cold. I'm gonna toast that. This is ready for the next step. I thought I turned the stove off. I didn't. I just ran downstairs to get some broth. So what I'm gonna do is add my pumpkin. So we're basically making, I guess, a pumpkin soup. It's just pumpkin curry soup. So we're gonna get this in there. This is gonna be good. I can tell that this is about as much energy as I have for what we're doing today. It's been kind of slow around here with not feeling the greatest, but we're managing and we're upright, which is great. So I've got 4 cups or 1 quart of broth here. Get that in there. And then I have these noodles. I got these at Trader Joe's. They look really good. So this is gonna be good. They're a wheat flour noodle. I have 2 cans of coconut milk. So I went ahead and put my Instant Pot and rice cooker away because we're gonna have noodles instead. And I'm not gonna make salad rolls. That was a little too ambitious. I might need to thin that out just a little bit more, but for now that's good. Once the coconut milk melts. And we're gonna let this simmer. While that's simmering, we can get the lids on our Marionberries, get these in the freezer. I like these because they stack really well. And if you've ever watched any restaurant type shows or anything like that, anything about restaurants, this is what they use in restaurants a lot for their mise en place. So it makes me feel a little more professional. Oh my goodness, that stuff is so good. So this is ours. I'm gonna put this in the fridge, and these are gonna go in the freezer for my mom. When I was out in the freezer putting those marionberries away, I grabbed a thing of shredded zucchini. This is 3 cups of shredded zucchini. I was going to shred carrots and do some veggie prep. I guess the only veggies I really have in the house that are fresh are carrots and cabbage from the garden. But I think, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna open this bag of frozen zucchini and we're gonna pop this whole thing in there. And we're gonna let this cook and become really tender. This is going to be our veggie in our curry soup. Easy peasy. The beauty of when it comes to winter after food preservation season is you can have meals really quickly. I could have used those frozen onions and this would have gone even faster. And I could have used garlic powder too. I'm getting some things ready for tomorrow and I jumped because I totally forgot I had breakfast in the oven and it is perfect. It smells incredible. I think my smelling is a little bit off. Usually that's when I know it's done, is because I can smell it, but it's perfectly done. It's not overcooked. I don't like to overcook it because then it can dry out, but that is pumpkin baked oatmeal for breakfast. So I'm gonna set this and let this cool, and then I will slice it up and put it in these little glass containers for breakfast serving sizes. So let's try our soup. It might need some adjusting with seasonings before we put the noodles in it. It's hot. All right. Ooh, good amount of ginger. I think that's the perfect amount of ginger. That's so delicious. I do think it needs a little bit of sugar, so I'm gonna put maybe 2 tablespoons of sugar in there. And then I think I'm gonna add, I thought I had coconut aminos up here. I don't have any coconut aminos. I have soy sauce, but I don't think it needs any more salt. And I don't wanna run downstairs and grab coconut aminos and have that and soy sauce open in my refrigerator. So I'm just grabbing another spoon. Let me show you what this looks like. Looks great. I don't even think I'm gonna blend it. I was thinking I might need to add a little bit more broth or water, but I think the zucchini gave just the right amount of water. I do have some chicken in the fridge that was just some plain grilled chicken. I think I'm probably gonna have mine vegetarian, just because that sounds good to me. But Josh will probably warm up some of that grilled chicken and put that in there. Let me show you, oh! These actually come with seasoning packets. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just the noodles. So oh no. Take that out. So here's what tonight's dinner is looking like. Those noodles puffed up quite a bit more than I was anticipating, but I think that's gonna be just a really hearty, yummy, warm bowl of soup. Josh is just getting ready for dinner, so I'm just gonna do a little taste test here. You know, if I had more thought, I would probably enjoy some fresh lime squeezed on the top of this and sprinkle fresh or even fried shallots and cilantro, but I don't even feel like running out to the garden. I think this is gonna be really good, just like this. I just really want to try what the texture of these noodles is going to be like. And I'm considering this a one-pot dinner because I've got pumpkin in here and zucchini in here. Okay. They're a little bit still al dente, so they need to cook for a few more minutes, but I really am excited for the texture of these noodles and the flavor of the soup. With the noodles, it really calms down. It's not too spicy. I don't think Josh is gonna think that's too spicy. I can't help it. I'm gonna turn the stove off, let the noodles finish cooking. They will with the residual heat, and I'm gonna go harvest some cilantro. The fresh air and getting in the garden will do me some good. We've had snow, and this is what the cilantro is still looking like. I just washed the cilantro. I'm gonna use some scissors and just cut it right into the bowl. And I think this we can save for a different day. Friend, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. As we just checked a few things off the list and we're just continuing down the road of preserving last year's garden harvest. I really think the only two food preservation things we need to do from last year, but 2023's garden is probably manage the potatoes at some point because there are quite a few potatoes down there and we have not eaten through them. And I need to work on eating through them or doing something with them. And some of the onions that I grew, I know that they weren't cured as well as the onions I purchased from a farm. So I'm just gonna need to keep a close eye on those and make sure we go through them and they don't go bad. So thank you so much for being you, for being here. If you wanna watch a few of my other videos, I can pop them here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. I am gonna go rest, and it feels good to be able to check things off the list again and know your limits and call it when it's time to be called. So Josh and I are gonna enjoy this beautiful warm soup. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.